The popularity of online ordering is skyrocketing amid the pandemic, and restaurants are no exception. Digital ordering and delivery has grown 3 times faster than dine-in traffic since 2014, boosting food delivery apps such as Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Postmates. It's also leading to an accelerated growth of ghost kitchens. Ghost kitchens are cooking facilities that produce food only for delivery and takeout. It has no customer-facing areas or dine-in seats. This model allows restaurants to cut costs, making it an attractive business model, especially during a pandemic. It's not a new concept. Take Domino's Pizza. It's essentially been a ghost kitchen since its inception. Big brands like McDonald's and Chick-fil-A are also experimenting with kitchen-only models as online deliveries surge. Ghost kitchens could create a $1 trillion market, according to a recent report from Euromonitor. Cheaper, faster, and more reliable delivery could capture 50% of drive-thru service, 50% of takeaway food service, and 25% of dine-in food service. In the US, there are currently 1,500 ghost kitchens, along with other markets like the UK, China, and India. Third-party platforms such as Kitchen United, Cloud Kitchens, and Ketopi make it easier for restaurants to test ghost kitchens. Investors are also pouring millions of funding in these companies to help expand ghost kitchens across the US. The Halal Guys, Doghouse, and Wow Bao are among top brands that have opened ghost kitchens. Famous Dave's, Brinker International, and Fat Brands have also jumped on the ghost kitchen bandwagon. Bloomin' Brands, one of the world's largest casual dining companies, and the one behind Outback Steakhouse, is also testing a kitchen-only format for takeout and delivery. But can ghost kitchens help businesses survive the pandemic? And is it more than a trend that will continue even after we get the vaccine broadly distributed?
I would say that what COVID has done is it has accelerated some of the existing trends.
Ghost kitchens are cooking warehouses with multiple small kitchens, either leased by a restaurant or a restaurant subcontractor. There's also virtual brands, which is when a brand exists solely online without a brick-and-mortar store. It's optimized for online food delivery and takeout. Kitchen United, a ghost kitchen startup based in Pasadena, California, received $40 million in funding by RXR Realty in the summer of 2019. Cloud Kitchens was founded by former Uber CEO Travis Kalanick in 2016. It received $400 million from Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. Ketopi, another ghost kitchen platform, received $60 million to open 50 new delivery-focused kitchens in the US and 100 globally by the end of 2020.
There's a view that the restaurant industry is where, let's say, the retail industry was maybe 5 years ago.
With 2/3 of Americans ordering food online, the addressable market for online delivery is set to grow from $375 billion in 2020 to possibly $467 billion in 2025, according to Morgan Stanley research. Food delivery services are also thriving. Take a look at DoorDash. It's one of the hottest IPOs in 2020. Which started trading at $182 per share, giving the company a market cap of $57.8 billion. It's the leading food delivery service app, grabbing 45% of the food delivery market, followed by Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates as of April 2020, according to Edison Trends data.
In theory, or for a restaurant that does it right, a ghost kitchen, the idea is that it starts to take out some of those costs associated with the traditional restaurant format, and it makes delivery more cost effective.
Ghost kitchens started out in kind of the San Francisco area with some of the mom and pops because the restaurant real estate was so expensive, but now it has really exploded into the large major quick service restaurants. All have some sort of prototype of a ghost kitchen, or they've tested it in a market, or they're coming up with a new strategy as they expand their real estate footprint, as they're opening new stores.
In November of 2019, McDonald's opened its first ghost kitchen in London to meet its growing demand for delivery. Chick-fil-A also launched delivery-only operations around the same time in the Bay Area. During the pandemic, Chipotle made headlines by opening its first digital-only restaurant in New York. The CEO estimated digital sales could exceed $2.5 billion in 2020, more than double in 2019. One fast-casual Asian American chain, Wow Bao, is seeing success with its so-called dark kitchen model. From April to October, Wow Bao has launched 100 dark kitchens across the country, making it one of the fastest growing restaurant concepts. The company has expanded to locations across the US in places like San Francisco, Miami, Austin, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, and Portland. Wow Bao's dark kitchen model works in that it partners with other restaurants to sell their food, similar to a franchisee relationship. For a $2,000 fee, Wow Bao will send a participating restaurant the necessary onboarding and training materials and kitchen equipment to steam, cook, and sell Wow Bao's food. 36% of profits would go towards buying food, ingredients, and packaging, 25% would go to third-party delivery apps like DoorDash, and the rest of the 39% would go directly to the restaurants working with Wow Bao. Wow Bao takes a commission from the 36% of profits that go towards food, ingredients, and packaging.
Our idea was there are restaurants out there that are just breaking even, just making a little bit of money, not making enough money, and we could give them top line sales and increase bottom line profits. And at the same time, we could grow our national footprint without having to spend money on building restaurants, buying equipment, or signing long leases.
Fat Brands, which owns 9 restaurant brands in the fast casual dining space, has about 6 ghost kitchens in the US and more than a dozen internationally.
You really have to have brand awareness if you're going to go into a ghost kitchen. So you can't just expect on a delivery app that customers are going to know what your brand is and then start ordering from you. If you have brand awareness when you go into a market, you're all set. You're now, a customer sees you, they say, oh gee, I didn't know that brand was in town. Great, I want to order from it. But if it's a startup brand that no one's ever heard of, it's not going to get the traction on a delivery app.
Doghouse, a fast casual provider of gourmet hot dogs and burgers, was an early adopter of the ghost kitchen model. During the pandemic, the company has been expanding its brick-and-mortar Doghouse restaurants as well as opening ghost kitchens in locations including California, Texas, and Illinois.
It was a matter of being prepared, but the pandemic pushed us to try something that we probably would have taken a lot longer to implement, and we would have been a lot slower in the process. And to be honest, I don't know if we would have been as successful, because what we did learn is that when we did it brand wide and we did it with a bigger push and more power behind it, there was greater success.
Pivoting to delivery only may not be feasible for most independent restaurants. Yelp data shows 60% of closed businesses have shuttered permanently due to the pandemic. As of August 31st, 163,735 businesses have closed. That's down from 180,000 that closed at the very beginning of the pandemic, but it actually shows a 23% increase in the number of closures since mid-July. The number of permanently closed businesses has also steadily increased since the pandemic began. Restaurants, bars, and nightlife venues have been hit the hardest by lockdowns and restrictions. Restaurants also face the challenge of calculating whether delivery-only model works for their individual business. If it's a small local business with little brand recognition, onboarding its brand onto a third-party delivery app could be a challenge because of increased competition.
As we just have more options, it's going to become more competitive. All of those occasions are going to become more competitive. Some of those mom and pop restaurants will be fine, but not all of them are necessarily going to be, their advantages were never about marketing or about, being a big brand on a third party player. And so absolutely it changes the competitive equation. And so I think a lot of restaurants are going to have to adapt very quickly.
Ghost kitchens may be more than just a trend sparked by the pandemic. Researchers from Deloitte surveyed more than 500 people across several geographical locations in the US before the pandemic and as the pandemic has been ongoing. 46% of consumers told the researchers they didn't see their delivery and takeout habits returning to pre-COVID levels for the next 6 months. 52% of respondents said that they order delivery more than once a month, a 14% increase compared to pre-COVID-19 levels. The number one reason why people order online? Convenience.
They will continue to order takeout and delivery. One, they figured it out. They know it's easy. And the one thing that our report and our research really found was an emphasis on convenience.
To the extent that a ghost kitchen takes away a cashier's job or a dining room worker's job, it's created a driver's job for delivery.
This is an evolution of the restaurant industry, the way third-party delivery is taken off, the ghost kitchen, the dark kitchen, whatever it may be. And operators, restaurateurs, are entrepreneurs.